This lesson is for Breezeblocks by Old J, and this is what it's going to sound like. I had a few requests for this song, and it's quite fun because the drums change up a fair bit, and a lot of what they're playing isn't your standard rock beat, which is always a nice little challenge. So I've broken it down as best as I can. I'll hop on the kit and I'll show you how it goes. For the first verse, the drums are playing this. And then we are onto our chorus, and I've written it a little bit strangely in the transcription, just because there are a few 30-second notes in there, kind of technically. But anyway, if you can grab the sound from what I play, and then if you get stuck, use the transcription, hopefully that will work out for you. Anyway, this is what it sounds like. The beat changes just a tiny bit before we go on to the post-chorus. Those little filler snare drums are always just after the hi-hat. So I always kind of think about the sticking and know that it's going to be right-left, because that left hand's going to sneak in right after the hats. Okay, moving on, we've got the post-chorus. Now this is a bit weird. The way that I can hear it in the recording means that you're probably going to have to start with your left hand over on the floor tom, just so you can move nice and easily over to the snare drum. I think another way you could do it if you wanted is to play on two toms, and then it'll be a lot easier to just bring your right hand over. But what I'm going to do is play left hand lead on the floor tom and move that over to the snare drum, and it'll sound like this. And then at the end of that, we just stop on beat 3 and beat 4. We cycle back through for verse 2 using exactly the same tools as we already have done. At the end of the verse, we have this stop instead. Then we're back onto our 16th note groove with those extra little filler snare drums, and then halfway through that there's this little fill that sounds like this. Then we're down onto our floor tom for our post-chorus again, and it's exactly the same as we played it the first time. Then the drums drop out and it's just vocals for a while. When they come back in, we got snare drum and hi-hats playing a pattern, but what I can hear is that the sound of the hi-hats changes quite a bit. So you could experiment with moving your stick up onto the bell of your hi-hats. I think that's kind of the best sound that's going to replicate what's on the recording. It's a little bit tricky to do, so you could leave it out if it's too hard, but if you want to muck around with it, feel free, I think it will sound great. Anyway, the pattern that we want to play sounds like this. There's a tiny little fill before we move on into a groove. And then we're into a 16th note groove that sounds like this. The next groove is probably the trickiest in the whole song, just because we're adding a lot of the rack tom into the groove, and it's a little bit tricky to get your hands there quick enough while you're also keeping all the other sounds going as well. Anyway, let me play it for you slowly. And now up to tempo. I definitely think it is tricky to get those offbeat hi-hat accents in there, just because there's so much other stuff going on, but definitely work on it and see if you can get it, because it will sound fantastic when you play along to the recording. At the end of that, there is this one little fill. And so the voices are still singing in canon, but we're going to change up the groove a little bit and scale it back to just eighth notes with a couple of busy little ghost notes on the snare. It goes like this. Then we ramp up those hi-hats once more just for the last couple of bars of the song. And then the last bar of the song for the drums sounds like this. And there we go, that is everything that you'll need to play Breezeblocks by Alt J. There are lots of fun parts in there, as well as a couple of little challenges, so I hope you enjoy it. Happy practicing, guys, and I'll catch you at the next lesson.